Hello, dear Patreon community. Thank you for tuning in. I am dropping in with a special autumn equinox divination for you, tuning into this special planetary pivot moment when the day and night are in equal length, suggesting a elemental and energetic place of balance that we could attempt to inhabit. And I know, the world is truly imbalanced in so many ways at this point. Um, there's so much that needs to be addressed. There's so much pain and suffering that we're all going through collectively and individually. And the equinox, if we are able to attune to its energy, is really an opportunity to see where we are being nourished and where we are being sort of drained or compromised, where we might realign with a value set that keeps us feeling resourced and engaged with the world rather than unable to show up. Because each of us is here for a reason, I don't think many of us can fully understand what that reason is every day, the time, but we are here. And as witches, it is our power to show up in ways that move the needle towards healing. So I have my Daughters of the Moon deck here, and I wanted to pull a few cards for the equinox and just ground into this collective energy, and then maybe make some suggestions for how folks can attune or celebrate this moment on the wheel of the year. So I'm just shuffling here. I'm calling on my own personal guides to assist me in this divination, and I'm calling on Hecate, the guardian of crossroads, to guide us into the darker season with magic and with reverence. And I call forth the elements, earth, fire, water, and air, and all that dwells below, and all that dwells above, and all that streams and spirals in the center. Cutting the deck into 3 piles. And we begin. Inviting you to just take a nice deep breath wherever you find yourself. I pulled Spider Woman the Weaver. And this is the Daughters of the Moon deck again. And the Weaver says Life Weaver, Spider Woman. This is an archetype that really deals with fate and fatedness and sort of like being in a moment where we can actually see all of the timelines that are at play, see our energy and how it's guiding us into accepting more responsibility or making certain choices. There's a way about equinoxes, solstices, these like pivotal celestial stations on the wheel of the year that invite us into a deeper perspective of ourselves, maybe an ancestral perspective. This is a really good time to like really attune to our ancestors and begin to like fortify our reverence practices with them. This is a brilliant time to think about all the little choices you're making in your life and all the big choices you're making in your life and how you want to really be thinking about your future in this shape-shifting landscape. Spider Woman helps us manifest the timelines we wish to manifest, the ones we prefer to manifest. So at the solstice, it's a really potent time to really think about your goals for the next 6 months. Think about what you'd like to achieve by spring equinox. Think about what you'd like to achieve by this summer solstice before we really go into like the hollow of the year. What are you sort of completing or wrapping up? What are you planting seeds for maybe at this time? So this is a really powerful portal or entryway into the equinox. This is the equinox energy. And I'm going to ask, what can we offer at our equinox altars? And then what can we expect to receive at the equinox? So, what can we offer at the equinox altar? The card is Seven of Cups, jealousy in this deck, which is a real, it's interesting to see it coming up as like an offering because it feels more like, what can you unburden yourself of at this equinox moment? Jealousy, Seven of Cups. This is about letting go of like stagnant or frustrating feelings that lead to discontent. So it's kind of saying like those feelings that maybe are unrequited, or, the relationships where you feel like you're not receiving as much as you're giving. Those are the things we're sacrificing at the equinox altar as we come into greater balance with ourselves. And on the other side, we have the Maiden of Blades, Gemini. And the Maiden of Blades is such a contrast to the Seven of Cups, this jealousy energy. The Maiden of Blades is surfing over a rainbow. They are like ready to revel in greater acceptance. They are reveling in experience. They are joyously exploring this like frontier. And Gemini energy is all about being, multidisciplinary and holding complexity and nuance. So it's about moving away from maybe binary thinking, and the sort of relationships and beliefs or thought patterns that keep you stuck, and moving into perhaps a more fluid, more dynamic approach to the way you're navigating through the world. That's what we're accepting more of into our lives. And with Uranus in Gemini, moving back into Gemini, we've already started that trip a little bit. That's something to be thinking about, is like, how can we be more flexible and innovative right now? Okay, and then I'm going to pull one final card, that's going to be a tool for how to navigate through to solstice. And we have Kali, the Awakener. So it's no, I mean, I feel like I've said this multiple times in our podcast, but we are in extraordinary times. We are awakening to so many layers of suffering, of illusion, of the ways in which we are kept from our power, the ways in which we are controlled and manipulated. Um, we're awakening to a lot of truth. And there's also a lot of illusion being cast out in the world. With Saturn and Neptune so close together, it can be this like heightened sense of disillusionment, or a real questioning of what is truth. But Kali comes through, the awakener, to make sure that we are paying attention to what is going on in the world, and we are awake to what our sacred duty is. So in this deck, Daughters of the Moon, Kali Awakener function as like a tower archetype in the tarot. So the systems are crumbling. The systems that um, we once believed were built to support us, we now understand are actually built to coerce and exploit us. And it's up to us to dismantle those systems and recenter onto systems of care and mutual support and mutual aid. And so I just want to say, the next, I guess the fall, the autumn, the descent into winter is going to be a tremendous moment in history. It's going to be filled with a lot of shifting. And so now more than ever, it's important to center on your magic, center on those threads that keep you feeling truly safe, truly centered in your spirit, connected with your purpose. And this is what Spider Woman really wants from us, letting go of the things that keep us in our shadow place or in projection and attuning to a maybe more multifaceted version of ourselves that's easier to learn and grow, more flexible, more fluid as we go through these massive waves of awakening and change. And so at the autumn equinox, I think it's a really amazing time to do cleansing and clearing work, whether that's taking a bath, a magical bath, like salt and baking soda, whether that's doing a salt scrub, whether that's a smoke cleansing and clearing, or like laying on the earth somewhere quiet. Um, there's so many ways that you could go about practicing a cleansing for your energetic body, and then also for your home or your space. Um, Anything that you can do to like clean and declutter is a great thing to do at the equinox, sort of like an energetic reset of your space. And then offering prayer or protection to your home um, as you move down into these deeper winter months. So this could be anything from making your own wreath for your door. It could be salting the thresholds of your home so that you are the only one who is like practicing magic in your space, if that feels applicable to you. Um, there's a lot of interesting things you could do in terms of making spell jars. I would also say it's just a really good time to reconnect with ancestral practices around this time of year, around the deities that were revered around like equinoxes or winter, just really tuning into the ancestral threads that are woven into your life and into your blood, into your inspirations. So a good time to like reset your ancestral altars, make offerings there of favorite food, um, communing with the ancestors in a way that feels meaningful and resourcing for both of you, all of you. The equinox is this equinox, especially, like we're riding the waves of eclipse season into the equinox. So I'm sure there has been already shades of this like awakening energy rolling through your life. And it's really important to take time to slow down and really process what's coming up for you. The collective is moving so quickly that it actually is quite a radical act to like pump the brakes, take a beat, journal, attune to what's going on in your body. What are your emotions telling you? It's an important check-in moment. What are you feeling now? We're 3/4 of the way through the year. Like, what has your year been teaching you? Return to like your tarot card of the year, if that's something you calculated, and see if you can notice any themes that are kind of really crystallizing as you meet this threshold of the wheel of the year. And I want to just encourage everyone to find the right balance between being clued in to what is happening in the world as we see the rise of fascism, as we see the United States like really descending into a dark night of the soul. It's so, so deeply important for us to like, as spiritual people, stay resourced, stay connected to spirit, stay connected to our intuitive knowings so that we can weather the storms ahead in ways that are authentic and aligned for us. So that's my plug. I hope that in addition to all of these spiritual and energetic ways of honoring equinox, you are gathering beautiful flowers for your home, maybe baking something delicious, celebrating in a sensual way that really feeds these very human ancestral parts of you. So, witches, let me know how you're doing out there. I would love to hear from you. And blessed be. Happy equinox.